Hello star hikers and welcome back to the trail. If you're new here, hello. I'm Sabrina, I'm an artist and a musician, and I make my art and music under the name the Stardazed Trail. I recently released a sci-fi folk song called Howlin Winds, and in this video, I'm going to share the drawing process for the cover art with you, and how it ended up being heavily inspired by the gem of autumn itself over the garden wall. Because while I was drawing this up, I was also watching the show for the very first time. Yeah, I'm 10 years late to the party, but it's fine. I absolutely love it. I'm obsessed. I am Wirt. I am Wirt and he is me. And I want his cloak. I think it's rad. And I love the show's colors, the composition, the vibe, all of it. So I decided to use that as a starting point for this piece. So starting off, something that I always do is make the canvas kind of the color of aged paper because it's easier on my eyes, it's less blue light, and I think it works really well as a base for all the warm tones I'm gonna add in later. And I had to have a cloaked traveler with a lantern as a cool callback to the show, but also I needed to show the protagonist of the song as well. Now, I had written Howlin Winds probably 2 years ago, if I had to guess, but seeing Wirt's journey and his character arc, it really reinforced and amplified and kind of lit a new fire under it for me. There's a lot of similar themes in what I was trying to convey in the song with Wirt's journey. You know, like that idea that you are your own worst enemy, and that inner voice can be your greatest adversary, you know, filling you with self-doubt, or that feeling that you're not good enough, or no one wants you around, you don't belong. That's something that I feel a lot of people could relate to wrestling with. Now, when I say Wirt is me, I mean that I catastrophize things like he does, you know, worst case scenario type thinking, which is not good. I'm trying to get out of that habit, but seeing how he pushes through that it's really important to see, and I think it definitely helped me. So with the artwork representing the song, I wanted to create something akin to the unknown, which is that endless forest that the brothers are wandering through. You know, there's a sense of unknown, obviously, and unease, and something unsettling about all the winding trees, and that you can't really see too far ahead of you. There's something, it's almost like the environment itself is its own character in the show. I wanted to kind of capture a little bit of that sense of being lost. And I tend to have heavy contrast on my work, so a lot of heavy shadows and inks and silhouettes, especially on the trees and the foliage. Also incorporating that vignette around the entire piece, framing everything to kind of provide that focus on the lantern and the traveler, and that's the only source of light in this dark forest. And you'll definitely find me drawing a lot of forests. It's my favorite kind of environment to create. Seeing this is the Stardazed Trail, it's kind of the scene that I like to set. I love drawing foliage, trees, leaves, and utilizing negative space. I can talk. Negative space to figure out light sources. This is actually my second time around trying to ink this. I kind of got the idea in my head that I should try with pencil, so I was using the 6B pencil at first that comes with Procreate, but it wasn't as striking as I was hoping it would have been. I thought I could get something softer, and that would create more of a dreamlike quality, but I don't know, I didn't really like how it was turning out, so I used the dry ink brush, which is another stock brush that comes with Procreate, and it's a go-to when I want striking inks, but it does have a texture on it as well, so it's not too stiff. And could I make or download a leaf texture brush instead of poking my screen endlessly for each individual leaf? Probably, but I don't want to. I don't know how to explain it. It's equally tedious and therapeutic using stippling for each leaf. I don't know why, I find it satisfying, even though it takes a very long time. I mean, I do have speckle brushes and paint splatter brushes that could do the job, but I don't know, I guess I like having that control of where everything goes. It's a little crazy. Maybe I can find a balance there so that my eyes just don't feel like they're popping out of my head from staring at something for so long. I'll work on finding that balance, but I do like having that control and knowing exactly where everything goes. This part coming up was kind of tricky. I wanted to actually portray the Howlin Winds, but I didn't want it to clash with the trees too much, so I used the drawing brush Oberon in Procreate, and it came out really nice. And of course, I have to add a cosmic element, so I'm speckling in some stars there to make it seem like the forest is fading off into the cosmos, into space itself. And I feel like up top definitely needed more leaves, more shadows, more detail to contrast what's going on, that far, almost faded away distance behind the traveler. The trees are a lot closer to the viewer, so I wanted to create that distinction. So I had almost left it with that extreme negative space, but I really think that detail makes it pop and creates more depth. So I went in and added a lot more of those shadows, because I noticed a lot in the over the garden wall background art, it does fade off into the distance, and the details are definitely a lot closer to the viewer, so I wanted to emulate that as best as I could. And we've kind of entered that stage where I'm just tweaking and adding a little bit more shadows, kind of zooming in and out like a crazy person. But it's good to kind of take a step back for a moment and see what it looks like all together. I wanted to define the Howlin Winds a little bit more. I added 2 shooting stars over the text there to make it even more cosmic. The colors are pretty simple, and I also added this border around the piece, showing off that texture of the brushes. Something I've been experimenting with on Procreate is the glitch tool, which is why you see those blocks of orange on the left side. I used it on the color layer this time, but I also used it on the inking layer. It's almost too subtle on the inking layer, but you can see it more on the colors there. I really like the effect that it gives. It's a grainy technological effect mixed within that organic environment. I'm still trying to find a nice balance, but I really like how it turned out on this piece. And that wraps up this illustration. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the process, and I hope it inspires some of your own artwork. You can stream my song Howlin Winds wherever you listen to music. I got links to my Bandcamp, Spotify, Apple Music, all down below. Let me know if you have any questions about my drawing process or digital art in general. Also, I want to know who your favorite Over the Garden Wall character is. You already know mine is Wirt, of course, and now I need to draw fan art of him. So until next time, Star Hikers, thank you so much for hiking with me. Peace and Stardust to you.